Hello there Ascarians and viewers of the public. You are witnessing part 3 to the Aurcanium series. Before we continue, please note that all videos gathered during this series, which are used as evidence, are from the month of August 2018. Videos from Aurcanium's first group Aurora are of course older. Due to the sheer quantity and quality Aurcanium are feeding me, I had to separate the Aurcanium series into 4 separate parts. This is the 3rd video out, so I highly recommend that you watch part 1 and 2, which can be found in the description before watching this. If you've already watched part 1 and just need a refresher on it, part 1 showed Aurcanium's first group Aurora, and showed how they had really bad graphics, had no hierarchical structure, and used to exploit in every battle. After being upset about Havoc Ascendancy exposing them, Aurora did actually declare war on Havoc Ascendancy, which we accepted. In the first pre-war battle, Aurora exploited over 7 times. Here are some highlights. Part 2's video was all about how Aurora has returned to the SCC under Aurcanium, and despite their polished look, have gone back into their old ways. Shortly around the time this video was released, Aurcanium decided to shut down and make a new group under the name Skywatch. Last time Aurcanium changed groups without addressing the problems they had initially, the issues followed them to their new group. Aurcanium have either done 3 things when watching my recent video. 1. Have exiled the culprits and made a better attempt to improve as a group. 2. Have tried to defend themselves for these things, even though there is so much proof against them. 3. Have tried to ignore this completely or only responded to selective parts. Looking at how things have gone, I have seen that user XBQA has been removed from Honorary, as well as the Aurcanium group, which shows that the video must have been recognized by the Aurcanium leaders. Due to this video being typed up so shortly after the other was released, there have been no sightings on any change to the other users within their group currently. Part 3 of this series is more of a seal of the cap. Everything has already been exposed, but this video shows that it isn't just a problem a few Aurcanium members have, it shows it is the group as a whole. I'm fully in belief that if Richard wants to reform his group, he can. However, there's just so much work to do, and so many people he would have to replace, it may not be worth it. I strongly recommend Aurcanium do what Aurora did and merge into another group, but this time permanently. Although I'm not sure which group would like Aurcanium members to join their community after watching this video series. During the battle, I constantly told my members both in voice call and in game to not respond to the insults Aurcanium were giving. In saying this, Havoc Ascendancy was hardly speaking out of team chat, let alone insulting Aurcanium. As we spoke about in part 2, Aurcanium is known for insulting their opponents a lot during battles, especially Havoc Ascendancy. 2/3 of the Aurcan leadership team were present, so I assumed this wouldn't be a toxic battle. Sadly, I was wrong. From when the battle started, members of Aurcanium were pretty much all out of team chat. I do not really mind this, however most messages were insults. In the description of the game, it says flaming and spamming may get you kicked. Havoc Ascendancy did not remove any Aurcanium members as we wanted it to be a fair battle, and enforcing this rule would have left Aurcanium in a 30 versus 10. The sad part about this also is that the main person throwing insults was the Chancellor of Aurcanium. During the battle, a user named Who's Tom joins the game and whispers me to give him moderator permissions. I did give him this. However, the racism that he showed was super uncalled for, and has been a running thing within Aurcanium. The reason I believe some Aurcanium members feel racism is acceptable is because every encounter I have with Tom, he has always been racist towards me and my members, whether it's in public or via direct message. Tom is blatantly racist. With the retirement of Richard due to the last video, I feel like the new group Skywatch is going to be much more toxic. Skywatch having a leader who is this publicly racist and toxic shows the poor leadership of Skywatch and Aurcanium. This was not the only poor behavior seen from Aurcanium. Later on down in the battle, you see Chancellor Richard teleport a user to him. I'm aware that he may have done this with the best interests. However, this is like refreshing somebody because they were killed by lag. There are just some commands you refrain from using in battle, even if the situation was unfair for the person. I wasn't sure whether me thinking this was admin abuse was correct, so I spoke to several leaders and high representatives of the Sword Clan community, and other than the odd person who sat on the fence, mainly everybody said it was admin abuse. All tier 1 leaders who I spoke to agreed with me. Some argued it was only low level. However, admin abuse is admin abuse. If this was the only situation, then fair enough. However, in the last minute when Havoc Ascendancy had the terminal, Tom, one of the co-raid leaders, went to the extent to kick somebody so they could capture the terminal. This failed. However, this shows the limits Aurcanium are willing to go just to win a raid. I can understand why Richard thought what he did was fine. However, Tom doing this is completely wrong. Tom has been seen doing this sort of stuff in previous battles also, which does not help prove Aurcanium's legitimacy. Looking in the rank leaderboards, as we have a rank changes script for raiders, we saw that throughout the battle, people were constantly joining who were not in Aurcanium. There was at the highest, a total of 7 people on the raiding team who were not in Aurcanium. At this time, Aurcanium had 22 on their team, so almost 1/3 of their team were guessed. This made me wonder why Aurcanium would have such a big following of non-groupers. At first, I assumed that due to Havoc Ascendancy's ferocity, or to some people infamy, people may have joined as they knew Havoc Ascendancy was in battle. In part 2 of the series, we see how Aurcanium have had a massive increase in scrimmages helping their group out. Looking at reasons why, we see now that Aurcanium has been getting the assistance from the Nifty, a scrimmage group on Roblox. It is fine scheduling events with allies. However, it should be made known to the opposition, especially when you say to groups not to bring allies for the same battle. Despite this only being discovered now, this is not a recently started thing. Almost every single battle Aurcanium enter, Nifty has been present, aiding them. If this is what happens outside of war, I dread to think what Aurcanium or Skywatch would have Nifty do for one. Another thing that keeps popping up when Aurcanium is present is exploitation. Several reports of exploitation occurred during this battle. Due to me knowing that Aurcanium were raiding, the later in the battle it got, the more I reminded Havoc Ascendancy members to record, because so many times previously, we have seen Aurcan exploiters, but have not been able to capture the footage. I think this says a lot due to all the evidence we have put forward, even without capturing every single thing. The evidence I was given was pretty crazy, and gave me the conclusion that Aurcanium cannot beat this internal issue, unless they publicly address it, which they have not done with Aurora, Aurcanium, or Skywatch. During the near start of the battle, we see a member of Aurcanium reach somebody in the terminal room. Due to this user seeming to be lagging a bit, he may have just afterlifed, so I'm not going to go too hard on him. Although it is worth stating that Richard has seen his members purposely lag before, and has not done anything about it. The next case of exploitation was ironically seen after I said to look out for exploitation. The fact that in the space of me addressing one exploiting incident, another person exploited, shows the sheer volume of exploiting Aurcanium does in battles. Looking at this piece of evidence, we can all agree this is no lag. Later on during the battle, Aurcanium are also seen using reach exploits to keep the terminal again. It's obvious this user is reaching due to the place user Trazium was damaged by initially. When so much cheating comes out of one group from one battle, it is hard to believe Skywatch on such claims when they say that their group do not tolerate exploiting. The final recorded sighting of exploitation was when 3 members of Havoc Ascendancy were reached by a user on the mountain entrance. I could not 100% identify who these people were, and I never wanted another Aussie situation to arise. So if you do know who these users are, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. Responding to some of the comments from the previous video, Aussie Legacy wasn't the person captured exploiting. He was mistaken for Austin. No. Just because you are in the Philippines doesn't mean that you automatically reach exploit. If I never used GIFs to fill out these videos, the whole video would be like this. Craig said Austin No was exiled after the raid, however he teleported to him during that battle and he saw it. This makes me think he is lying, and there were no trusts in the first place. I also responded to his comment and he never replied, which is also pretty strange. to conclude, at least for now, we see Aurcanium is a group who literally do anything to win, are pathological exploiters, and have a corrupt high command to exploit, and allow exploiters to run freely in their group. The next part of this series, we are going to completely talk about the leadership team, going into detail about the past of each leader, as well as their high ranks. The final video is by far the most shocking, and every single Aurcanium leader has a lot of negative history, and all have done things in the past and current that you guys will be very shocked about. Until then, I must say, Aurcanium is truly a group that move together like one organism. Let us take a moment to pay homage to Aurcanium. The fact that a group can condition their members to exploit in such synchronization is so moving. Every single battle, raid, or defense, training or practice raid. If an Aurcan is present, don't expect anything pleasant. Thank you.